It feels like it's been an eternity, but Aquaman, the movie, finally comes out December 21st, and today we got the look at the final trailer for the film. So the last we'll see of the movie before its release date, December 21st. What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek. Welcome to Pretty Dece, your daily entertainment and pop culture show. And Aquaman, it feels like it's been coming out for a long time. We've been talking about this movie. We've been seeing little bits and pieces of this film. And finally, we are finally getting to the point where it is just around the corner. Not much longer to wait. Aquaman, of course, historically has been a hero that people kind of don't care as much about. He's been kind of a borderline joke in the comics for a lot of years, and they've kind of pulled him back out of that a little bit. But in the movie form, Jason Momoa really surprised a lot of people in his portrayal of the character in Justice League and had a lot of people very excited about what a solo Aquaman movie might bring. So expectations are pretty high for this film that features a character that, historically people haven't cared as much about. Now, this trailer is kind of the most revealing trailer thus far, as you might expect from the final trailer to come out for a film. We learn a lot more about the plot of the movie. We learn a lot about the characters and the actors portraying those characters. We see a lot of the set pieces, the big action scenes that are going to take place in the film. We get little snippets of them. You can kind of piece together what's happening. It's at a few key points in the film. We see a lot of the costumes, we see a lot of the CGI that's being put together to create the underwater world of Atlantis. So there's a lot happening. Several of the scenes feature Willem Dafoe. He's portraying the character Vulko, who is, of course, a recurring Aquaman character that you have probably never heard of. And again, that's really going to be the thing that they're working the hardest against, is they're telling, hopefully, a good Aquaman story, but at the end of the day, you're still dealing with Aquaman, you're still dealing with the Aquaman cast of characters. So you can only do so much with these characters that don't have name recognition, people don't really know. Now, Dafoe is a fantastic actor, historically has been really great in a lot of stuff, but isn't necessarily right for every single role. He can kind of overwhelm scenes, overwhelm entire movies with his general Willem Dafoe-ness. So I'm hoping that his role here is a bit more understated, as he isn't the main focus. We're here to learn about Aquaman, so I hope he doesn't chew too much scenery and really go full Willem Dafoe. Nonetheless, I'm happy to see an actor of his caliber in this film. And should be interesting to see him kind of guide a young Aquaman, kind of learning the ropes is what it kind of seems like the dynamic those two characters will have. Now, we're clearly going to dive very deeply into the life and history of Aquaman. This is an origin story after all. So expect lots of things like various tridents and the secret powers of those tridents and warring factions and protecting the deep to be the main going concerns of this film. It doesn't seem like it'll be a regular superhero film, for better or worse. Now, I think in the best case scenario, we get a movie that's not dissimilar to the Black Panther. A striking standalone film that happens to fit into a larger narrative. In the case of Black Panther, the larger Marvel universe. And of course, in the case of Aquaman, the larger Justice League DC universe that they're building in their films. If it is related to Black Panther and kind of a film similar to Black Panther, we get a movie that kind of peels back the curtain on this fantastical world that we don't know much about. It lets us spend some time there as we figure out all the inner workings that world has to offer. And it creates this atmosphere and it builds it all up in the course of this one movie, and it makes you care about that world over the course of this one film. Black Panther did an incredible job of doing that. The worst case scenario, though, if it can't pull that off, if Aquaman can't pull off the Black Panther thing, is we get a movie that people don't really care about. It's too fantastical. No one really ends up being able to grasp onto any of the concepts because they didn't care about anything going in. They don't care about the warring factions going on in the ocean, and there's really nothing tying it to the rest of the Justice League and all the things happening on the surface world, so they don't have a reason to care about Aquaman. That's kind of my big fear going into this movie, is that they can't pull off making audiences care about everything that's happening in Atlantis. A lot of the imagery in the trailer reminds me of the kind of fantastical CG imagery that we saw in the trailers for Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, which is not necessarily a favorable comparison. I think that was also a movie that failed to really hook viewers. They didn't give you a reason to care about the crazy stuff you saw happening in the trailers before showing it to you. So you just kind of saw crazy stuff happening and wasn't grounded in anything, and you just moved on. I'm worried that Aquaman here will stray too far into this political history of Atlantis and the various kings and the various political advisors and caring too much about its own mythos to really bring the viewer in ahead of time. But hopefully those fears are unfounded. It's just kind of the little inkling I'm getting from seeing these trailers thus far. The movie does look very visually fantastic, very stunning, if not a bit glossy because of all the CGI that's clearly in play to build up this wonderful world of Atlantis. And seeing Aquaman at the end, finally fully decked out in his golden green, like the classic Aquaman look, definitely has me very excited, and I'm very interested to see how that look and kind of that glossiness of Aquaman matches with the Aquaman character that Momoa has been portraying thus far. He's a much more gruff Aquaman than maybe the comics are used to. So I think that juxtaposition will be pretty cool. So again, I'm a little trepidatious maybe about some of the things that they're showing and some of the ways that the story could go, but I am still very excited about seeing this film, and we don't have to wait too much longer. December 21st is when this will be coming out. So that's going to do it for Pretty Dece for today. Thank you very much for joining me to talk about Aquaman and the last trailer for Aquaman before the final release. If you want to support Pretty Dece, you can do so. Visit prettydeceshow.com/listener support to find out the details. Of course, listen to the Pretty Dece podcast wherever you download your podcasts from, or watch the video version. You can find that on YouTube. Just visit youtube.com/prettydece to find the channel. And of course, hit me up on social media. Let me know what you thought about this trailer. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @PrettyDeceShow.